And I sacrificed a lot of myself to come out successful.
Furthermore, I forfeited a ton of myself to come out fruitful on the opposite side. Be clear they exploited her, too, like in the Express, that she was inter in the perplexing universe of VIP few stories, are essentially as grasping as the unexpected vanishing of Wendy Williams from the public eye, the energetic and blunt television character, known for her no-limits way to deal with VIP tattle, has evaporated into a cover of secret and concern amid whirling bits of gossip and developing uneasiness. A voice from her past Churenda, her previous radio accomplice, has ventured into the spotlight, revealing insight into Wendy's disturbing non-attendance. Chiram to God, an unmistakable figure in the media business, known for his sharp editorial and drawing in interviews, imparted his interest to the U.S. child. He unveiled that it had been a long time since he last addressed Wendy, his once close associate. I ask that she's healthy, intellectually emote partner, in a profound way genuinely Main communicated in this proclamation. Genuine and loaded down, with stress highlights the weightiness of Wendy's circumstance, the one who once imparted the wireless transmissions to her. On the Wendy Williams experience, currently winds up like numerous in obscurity about her prosperity. Tana Tan's Lindy's Last Open, locating a brief look at her in New York City, simply developed the concern observers portrayed her as looking delicate, a distinct difference to the dynamic figure she once introduced. This picture, seured in February, has turned into an eerie indication of her continuous well-being battles, illustrating her present status. Goodness, Charlemagne's appearance on their past joint effort and ensuing aftermath. Further variety. The account he related his takeoff from the Wendy Williams experience in 2008, a move he ascribed to Wendy's ex Kevin Tracker, and a souring agreement in spite of their expert splitting, and the long periods of quietness. Roastman's anxiety for Wendy's prosperity stays undiminished. You would rather not see individuals crash. Basically, I don't, he said, underlining his expectations for her protected and honorable excursion through life's disturbance. Honestly, I see a period as a weight I can hardly hold on until it's over. Well, Bernlein has cut his own way in the media scene. His new receipt of the debut Power him grant at the Help Your Better Half's 5th yearly Power honors in IIC, and his meeting with Jada Pinkett Smith about her diary. His contemplations unavoidably return again to Wendy timely. Dated of the aggravation debilitated. I'm not in any event contemplating stuff like that, he said, when gotten some information about the chance of talking her again. His emphasis solidly on her recuperation. And Weller, you need to see an individual like that. You realize you heard that she was having some sort of medical problems, and you need to see her recover financially. That is what I care about. Country contrast between Wendy's once ubiquitous media persona and her momentum, unexplained non-appearance frames. A jolting a position. Charlie Mann, a figure who has explored his own portion of media storms, remains as a demonstration of the harming influence Wendy has had on those she worked with. His words portray a lady who at her pinnacle was an amazing powerhouse, presently covered in Concerned in Secret. The account of Wendy Williams, once so open and straightforward, has now turned into a story of murmurs and stresses, passing on all who know her, from close partners to far-off admirers, contemplating the inquiry, where is Wendy finished, due to the carelessness of her creation organization, with respect to acknowledging how serious her well-being was as Wendy Williams' puzzling non-appearance from the spotlight proceeds, with a more profound jump into her new battles, illustrates a star wrestling with well-being and monetary woes. See her life, once very easy to read on her long-running program, currently appears as though a progression of divided parts, set apart by private and expert choppiness. Noting was caught as Lendy's well-being concerns, especially her fight with serious liquor abuse, have been a repetitive topic in her life story. An insider near Wendy enlightened the U.S. child regarding upsetting conduct, uncovering she was calling a few group early Saturday, early daytime, asking individuals to bring her alcohol. This frantic supplication for alcohol, coming a very long time after a stretch in recovery, highlights the gravity of her battle. The source explained she would ask and afterward call more than once to circle back to her solicitation, portraying a situation of determined pursuit for liquor a few times now and even today. And past I have been residing in her stretch in recovery was no confidential as it was accounted. For that Wendy was in escalated therapy at a Malibu health office for almost 2 months, especially with Alice the thigh of her condition, was obviously illustrated by a source she is. Engaging serious liquor misuse blended in with serious medical problems. A battle was not just about enslavement, it was a battle for her existence. With specialists' advance notice, assuming you drink, you'll kick the bucket. I was a working junkie, I report to deal with time. And I'd stroll in, and all of my associates, including my supervisors, would realize the basic is the undoing of the Wendy Williams show following 13 years. The finale of her show, which she didn't go to, turned into a point of convergence of debate and dissatisfaction. Fans expressed their shock and mistrust, with one saying, "I believe it's sort of discourteous to triumph." When it's all said and done, the last episode of Wendy, without the finale, included a recognition montage, yet it was reprimanded for its quickness and absence of profundity, prompting remarks like Wendy merited better yet. Rather than terminating me, you see, I would get my earphones and egotistically stroll in the studio and dare them fire me 'cause I was making evaluations up at Wendy's inconveniences were not bound to her well-being. Monetary was likewise posed a potential threat post. Separate from there were claims about her portrayed absence of assets, and her ledgers were purportedly frozen. Issues intensified the public's anxiety about her prosperity. A show representative explanation in spring that Wendy would get back to the daytime show this mid-year turned empty. When it was affirmed that the show was over ruin lives, you realize you lose positions. The wiping out of her syndicated program was a huge monetary blow. Wendy, who had been missing for the sum of her last season because of her medical problems, saw her time allotment going to previous visitor have sure shepherd. Moreover, Wendy's case of sending off a web recording stayed unsure, with no reasonable episodes taped at this point, going to her monetary and well-being. Will Wendy fade hospitalizations? The U.S. Child detailed that she had been raced to the clinic 2 times in a limited capacity to focus an insider, uncovering at one point they didn't think she planned to come out the opposite side oak, or by any means to niece the twisting of well-being and monetary difficulties. Creates a long shaded area over Wendy Williams, one from her battles with dependence on the matter-of-fact finish of her famous show, and the approaching monetary vulnerabilities. Wendy's story has abandoned a story of media win to one of concern and unanswered inquiries, teeing into the change of her public persona from a lively and frank host to a figure covered in secret and stress leaves her fans and the public contemplating what lies ahead for Wendy Williams go about as the drapery of secret around Wendy Williams' condition thickens. The account takes a more dismal turn. Kevin Tracker jar Wendy's just child in a restrictive and genuinely accused interview of the U.S. Child voiced grave worries about his mom's prosperity, revealing insight into the frightening province of undertaking. And his words, weighty with stress and disappointment, cast a shadow over Wendy's future, weighed down with unanswered inquiries, and a discernible feeling of fear. An ordinate measure of individuals that made the most of my non-appearance, and her weakness at the time. Kevin's misery is substantial, as he fears his mom is unsafely near death. He reveals his grief expressing, "I realize there are a wide range of things happening that I know," saying she could never consent to this piercing reflection. Alludes to a Wendy Williams distant from the directing media presence she used to be, currently apparently lost in a maelstrom of well-being. And outside impacts CL22. In a dooming prosecution of those encompassing Wendy, Kevin blames her group for taking advantage of her weaknesses for monetary benefit, however hard, as it could be seeing her being made the most of. I know that assuming I'm ensuring she as an individual is oak that is the significant thing he uncovers, as would be natural for him reverberation, a child's profound worry for a mother, and trapped in a circumstance where her government assistance seems optional to her business esteem. Kevin Z's on-site portray Wendy's present status. He recognizes the seriousness of her liquor abuse. With a chilling affirmation, it could have that impact that it very well may be lethal in light of the fact that it